Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to York Run Stadium for tonight's matchup against the Gallatin Colonials and the Brooke Bruins out of Wellsburg, West Virginia. Second home game for the Colonials this year. Late add-on from the game last week against Laurel Highlands. I'm Rob Flockovich alongside Tommy Victor. Tommy, it looks like we're getting ready to kick off here. We're going to eradicate the last 2 minutes of the go ahead and get started. Gallatin's going to receive the ball to open the game. Tommy, I'm going to ask you a question. I feel like I already know the answer. Who are we looking out for today for Gallatin?
I mean, we have a couple big playmakers from what we saw last week. Just running down the list of our roster here, a couple highlights. Bruno for Brookie put up some points last week. The main guy that we said his name probably a million times, Sean Loring.
The one I was referring to, most likely. What were we at, Tommy? About 105 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns for Loring. Looks like everything looks to shape up to have a huge game for him once again.
Yeah, and he did all last week, both sides of the ball.
Yes,
I mean, just a consistent player.
Brook not looking too bad size-wise, but definitely size that Loring can run right through as we have the opening kickoff. Gallatin takes the kickoff, receiving, running up the left side, finds a nice little hole all the way up. Oh, we're still going all the way past the 40-yard line, ran out of bounds. Ball's fielded by, that's tough to see there, everybody moving around. Looked like
Antonio Efford.
That's what it looked like to me, Antonio Efford. Let's see what Gallatin could do on their first offensive drive, all the way up to the 40-yard line, Tommy. Well, I take that back. There's a flag. There is a late holding on the return team, so Gallatin's going to eradicate that field position.
It's going to be interesting to see if the offense can keep that momentum that they had last week. I mean, the Mustang defense could not stop them with anything that they could try to throw at them. I mean,
a 32-0 shutout there. Everything's going right on both sides of the ball for sure for Gallatin. All right, we are going to run the first play of the game here.
Loring's in the backfield.
We do need a ball in the field.
And it looks like we were missing one key thing to the game of football, Robbie.
Yeah, it looks like Gallatin on the 20-yard line. Robinson under center. Puts a man in motion. That man's effort. And that was a quick handoff to Loring to the left side. Loring's going to plow right ahead to start us off.
He probably got another maybe 8 yards after contact.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw. We'll go back to Laurel Highlands last week, Tommy, because that's the only experience that these guys have this year. That's the only game that we've seen this past year. It took 4 or 5 guys on the Mustang defense just to bring him down, let alone get him stopped.
And if you're the Colonials, I mean, you have a good balance. You have key playmakers all across this roster, and Loring is definitely the highlight of that group.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Put a man in motion. This time it is for Bricky. Going to be another quick handoff. Loring is down once again.
Loring, tackle made number 15, Joshua Shorts.
Tommy, I think it was, I want to say it was about the second, maybe even later, second quarter, maybe even the third before we saw the Colonials throw their first pass.
Yeah, and I mean,
this offense strictly running through Loring. I mean, it looks like more of the same early on.
And I mean, why would you abandon it?
Oh, absolutely. Won't think that is Robinson playing quarterback as usual. I'm having a tough time seeing. Is that Dylan Shea, I believe, throwing a toss to the right side as Bruno for Bricky gets pushed out of bounds by the Bruins.
And there's another playmaker for the Colonials. He seems to find yards.
He absolutely doesn't, and we've made, numerous times last week, not to mention how many times we said it last year. It's almost like he runs in slow motion. It's not so much speed. It's finding those holes and, a higher football IQ more so than just taking the ball and taking off down the field.
And it's interesting that you point out the quarterback change from last week because, Robinson had a great game, so I don't know if we have an injury.
Yeah, we definitely could, but it is definitely not Robinson. I just spoke because I'm used to it, but definitely looks like Dylan Shea taking over the quarterback role this evening against Brook. So far, so good, though.
Yep.
Going to be another quick handoff to the left side. Quick draw to Loring. We're moving right along down the field.
He still fights for, 3 yards?
Absolutely.
That play
4
looked like it
yards.
was going nowhere.
We're at 2nd and 6, 4 yards. Albert Gallatin, about every other play getting a first down here so far, all the way down to the 42-yard line of the Brooke Bruins. Getting a quick play call in here. Tommy, I will mention while we do have a little bit of time, we actually do have the referee lineup this evening. It is Tom Wasco, Jim Paston, Bill Shank, Ken Buckley, Dave Costa, and Tim Edwards. Shea under center, putting a man in motion. It's a quarterback keeper, fake hand off to Loring, and a draw play. And Dylan Shea breaks loose. He's down to the 10, 5, and that's going to be an easy score for the Colonials.
And that was a nicely finessed run by Shea because it looked like it was going to be blown up in the backfield.
It did. He had
the most of it.
He had 3 defenders in his face on that fake handoff. Could have potentially been an option, not too sure.
Yeah, it looked like they had it.
It looked like if he wanted to give it to Loring, he could have, but keeps it, gets out of danger, makes a 42-yard run to the end zone. 8:54 left in the first quarter, 6-0 Albert Gallatin. Looks like we're going to have another 2-point conversion attempt. We had 2-point conversion attempts every drive every time Albert Gallatin made it in the end zone, I should say, last week. So it looks like we're going to see more of the same this week. Shea under center. Man in motion. Quick handoff to Loring. Trying to push up the middle. It looks like the Brook defense. Oh, did Shea?
Yeah, he kept it.
Yeah, Shea did keep it. He faked me out, too.
And that's the first time this season Colonials don't convert on a 2-point conversion.
Very true, Tommy. Albert Gallatin scored 4 times last week, converted 4 times. Albert Gallatin's kick team already on the field, waiting for the Bruins to take the field so they can get their first try with the ball.
I think this kickoff's really important to Colonials because you want to make sure that you pin them down, you don't let a big return get away from you. Pin them down, let your defense do what it does, but you don't want to give them an easy short field to work with.
Absolutely. And honestly, Tommy, you want to set the tone on defense as well. Colonials haven't given up a touchdown yet this year. They want to keep that trend going because failing to get an extra point or a 2-point conversion, we were watching Brook warm up. They were hitting 42-yard field goals, 45-yard field goals, so they should pretty easily be able to convert on an extra point and take a quick lead as the kickoff bounces. The return man's brought down pretty quickly at the 30-yard line for Brook. Return man is Jace Campanelli, excuse me.
The Colonials was number 10, Jace Bowers. Gain of 15 yards on the return, and the Bruins will start 1st and 10.
Going to have 1st and 10 for the Bruins. Ball's going to be at the 30-yard line. 8:48 left in the first quarter.
And for the most part, it looks like the Colonials are going to be running the same defense that they did last week.
And it's going to be a quick flag.
That's going to help the Colonials out, I think.
There's the signal. It is on Brook. That is not the way you want to get started on offense.
No, not at all.
Going to be a quick 5-yard penalty, offsides.
Full start. On the offense, 5 yards, go first down.
I mean, if you're the Colonials, you'll take it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. 1st and 10, make it a 1st and 15, absolutely.
And it looks like Loring is getting down in his stance.
It looked like he was playing a lot of linebacker last week, Tommy, but I see a lot of potentially nose tackle, defensive end kind of situation going on here. I don't even want to say outside linebacker because he's more of a interior slot.
Full start.
Another false start flag for Brook. We're going even farther backwards here. Going to replay first down once again. 1st and 20 from the 20-yard line.
I mean, if it was any other year, I mean, you could say maybe the crowd noise being on an away game, but tonight there's no excuse.
It definitely seems like there might be a little more here than there was last week against Laurel Islands. However, there is not much. As Brook runs our first offensive play of the game.
They're going to get most of it back. Wow, I mean, they're going to be 2nd and maybe 3.
Absolutely. That was a very nice run by Drake Huckill.
Number 34, Drake Huckill. Tackle made by number 8, Tyler Frizzell, the Colonials.
5'8" senior, carrying the ball for the Bruins. Made the 1st and 20, 2nd and 8 from the 34-yard line. Clock rolling in the first quarter. Ball's going to be snapped. Going to be another quick handoff. It's going to be Hukel once again.
And the front for Brook is just so impressive off the get-go. Now I see why they had a couple of false starts. They're just
they're just ready to go. They're ready to go.
They're just, I mean, they're in the second level of the defense already. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, that's one way to contain the Colonial defense is to get to their linebacking core almost immediately. Quarterback in the game currently for the Bruins is number 15, Joshua Shorts. He's a senior quarterback. He's going to hand the ball off once again. Running's pretty similar to the Albert Gallatin offense, kind of slow and monotonous, just chipping away with the run game. Loring on the tackle on defense.
Pick up a 2 on the play, brings up 2nd down and 8 for the Bruins.
And we really haven't seen the Colonials defense be on their heels like they are right now.
No, not really. Not really. I mean, Brook has already gotten a 1st down after being faced with the 1st and 20. They had converted on that once already, so that's already a big step in the right direction for these guys as the pass is incomplete. Shorts on his first attempt of the game.
Yeah, they were definitely trying to set up the short pass there. I mean, he had a guy, but I don't think he had the time to.
No, he definitely was pressured, and we saw a lot of that with Albert Gallatin in the face of Rodney Gallagher last week whenever he started quarterback.
And we just got word that Tristan Robinson is injured, so that's why he's not in.
Okay, good that we got that word out. 3rd and 8 from the 42. Shorts is going to fire a pass, and it's close. It is close to being recepted by Scipio.
And it looks like they're going to punt.
There's a quick 4th down. 4th and 8 from the 42.
And they always say with defense, bend, don't break. I mean, right there, the Colonials, I mean, they gave up some yards there a little bit, especially when you had an early advantage of having them at, 1st and 20?
1st and 20. 1st and 20.
I mean, it's just Colonial defense holds up and forces
absolutely.
a punt.
And I think even a more important thing to build off of what you just said, they contained Brook to their own side of the field. They did not let him cross into Colonial territory. The snap's back. The punt's going to be away. That's a nice punt. Going to take a bounce at about the 18-yard line and take a nice Colonial bounce. Should be down, I would say, right around the 21, 22-yard line. And let's see, number 50, Christopher Gaston, fielded the ball, bounced a little bit deeper than it's going to be spotted. Right around the 16-yard line is where Albert Gallatin will take over. 1st and 10. That's pretty deep for where they've started this year, Tommy, on offense.
Yeah, I mean, really, against Laurel Highlands, they were never behind the 30-yard line, I don't think.
Not that if it was behind the 30, it wasn't far behind.
Yeah.
It was not far behind the 30 if it was. Albert Gallatin lining up once again, 2nd possession of the game, 6-0 lead.
And you wonder with the quarterback change if we're going to see any air attack by the Colonials tonight.
Definitely possible. I don't recall a game where I've ever seen Dylan Shea at quarterback as the ball's handed off to Loring. Ooh, it looks like we might have a loose ball. See who has it at the bottom of the pile. Looks like Albert Gallatin's going to retain possession. Ball might have popped out there for a brief second, but Sean Loring either fell on it or he kept it.
Yeah,
it was a tough vantage point for anybody.
The referees look like they waved off.
Joint recovery. Ball remains with black. 2nd down.
Okay.
So they do rule it a fumble, but it is recovered pretty much immediately by Albert Gallatin. Yeah, definitely.
Which, I mean, Loring, we don't have the exact number of how many carries he has so far for these 2 games so far. But, I mean, that's the first time he's fumbled so
absolutely. Far. He has to be around, I'd say, well into the 20s.
Easily, yeah.
At this point with carries. Man in motion, quick toss to the outside, and there's
another
another fumble in the backfield, and I think the Bruins have a way better shot at that one, but I think Albert Gallatin does come away.
Yeah, that was right place, right time for Colonials because, I mean, that was not a good look for the Colonials at all.
No, definitely. I wasn't sure if that was effort or Fabricki that got the outside toss.
It looked like Fabricki.
But his eyes were definitely downfield before he even had the ball because he had a nice running lane.
Ball placed at the 17-yard line.
And I think that was Antonio effort there, so which he's dangerous when he gets on the outside. But
absolutely, he had a lot of green in front of him.
He didn't get the first step complete.
He was just too focused down the field, which does happen.
Yeah.
3rd and 9 for Albert Gallatin. There's a great reception by Fabricki.
Wow.
That was borderline double coverage. I would call it double coverage by the time the ball reached Fabricki, but that was a
great pass.
That was a nicely thrown ball and I think an even better catch.
Because I mean, Shea fought through the contact to get that ball off, and I mean, he knew his receiver Fabricki could get up there and make the reception, and just like that, it's first down. You work out of trouble.
1st and 10 from the 40-yard line after the nice catch. 5:14 and rolling in the first quarter. 6-0 lead for Albert Gallatin. Well, Tommy, we saw Dylan Shea throw the ball now, like you just mentioned, being able to see the downfield attack. Worked out nicely so far.
That may open up the playbook for the Colonials.
For sure. Shea snaps the ball, and he's going to drop back once again. Has a wide open man down the field, and it's going to be just thrown out of bounds.
I can't tell exactly who that was.
Looks like Caleb Lang was the intended receiver downfield for Albert Gallatin. Nicely ran route by Lang, had great separation, just a little bit off target with that pass.
And if the Colonials can incorporate a pass game that has to be respected, this offense is going to get to another level.
Oh, I think that's the one thing. Not that their pass offense is ineffective. I think with a little bit of tweaking, like you said, it could really take off here. Albert Gallatin's going to line up for the 2nd and 10. Man in motions for Fabricki. Quick toss outside of Fabricki to the right side. Going to work his way up the field and get really close to that first down marker right in front of us.
Carrying the ball, number 2, Bruno Fabricki, tackled made by number 16.
There's another one of those signature outside runs from Fabricki. Albert Gallatin off to a slow start this drive, but they're working the ball right back into their tempo.
And I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, good teams are able to overcome some issues. I mean, we had a couple early fumbles. Luckily, both of them were able to be recovered.
Both of these teams definitely look like they had a little bit of rust to knock off early on now that we're reaching the latter end of the first quarter, but both are moving the ball. Albert Gallatin just happened to be in the end zone first. Shea lines up under center. 3rd and 1, quick handoff to Loring. Excellent spot for Loring to get the ball as he's going to drive ahead for the first down.
And that play, I mean, that's set up for him. I mean, you have 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Give it to the big guy. Let him punch.
If he can blast through the middle on a 1st and 10, you can absolutely give him the ball on a 3rd and 1.
Ball will be placed at the 47-yard line of the Bruins.
So Albert Gallatin's broken into Bruin territory once again. 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line.
And the Colonial offense doing what they do best besides putting up points, chipping away this clock early.
3:15 left in the first quarter, all the way down, and we've only seen one possession from Brook and two from Albert Gallatin. Shea snaps the ball, drops back, quick pass. A little bit of a case what we saw with Lang earlier. Just a little bit off target.
That's okay on first down.
That's okay on first down in the first quarter. That's just something to improve going forward. Because if you can get if you tweak that pass a little bit a couple plays ago to going towards the sideline, I mean, he hits a man in stride, and that's an easy touchdown.
Oh, yeah,
so
I mean, the safety
you get that stuff tweaked up early, you're going to be rolling the rest of the game.
a Fabricki run here would be set up perfectly, I think.
Let's see what happens. Shea under center. There's a man in motion, but that is effort, and there's a keeper from Shea. Looked like it might have been that luring option play again.
Yeah.
That play goes nowhere. Bruins all over that.
I mean, Dylan Shea is a little bigger than Robinson, so you can get more leverage on that inside. So I like that play call.
For sure.
And you could tell that Brook is definitely doing everything in their power to shut down the inside of the field. I mean, they're stacking in tight. I mean, that allows a lot of opportunity for outside runs and passes. So hopefully Shea could dial it in with the passes and hit some guys that are open.
Absolutely. And like you said, they really are trying to pound the inside of the field there. And just to give you a size differential between Robinson and Shea, Robinson lines up at 6 foot tall. Shea at 6'3". 3 inches of Shea looks to throw a pass. He asks for Bricky once again down the field after he faced a ton of pressure. That's another great pass between those two.
And Shea is just able to hang in there. I mean, pressure,
he's able to hang in there, but what I was going to mention before he threw that good pass, so 3 inches height-wise, it's a difference, not extreme. Robinson weighing in at 175, Shea weighing in at 220.
Big difference.
Big difference. Big difference, especially whenever you're back there, have 3 guys in your face, as Shea just did, being able to throw that ball. Albert Gallatin moves the ball down even further, 18-yard line of the Brooke Bruins, 1st and 10.
46 left in the quarter.
Shea lining up under center. Going to be saying that a lot this evening. Man in motion is effort. Going to be a quick handoff to Loring. Loring's going to be brought down. Take that back. He's still on his feet. Not surprising. Not surprising at all.
Another decent game on first down.
Absolutely. Going to bring up 2nd and 4
and
from the 12-yard line of Brook.
I don't know about you, Robbie, but I did not think he got 6 yards at first.
I didn't either. He was awful low to the ground, but as he does, he took off once again with a couple guys on his back.
And this offense has a different look with Shea under center. And it looks like we have a new quarterback.
Oh, it looks like we have Quentin Larkin in quarterback. We saw him a couple times last week as there's a quick QB keeper, it looks like.
Keeper number 7, Quentin Larkin. Short gain on the play, bring up 3rd down.
But Shea under center, it just gives a different dynamic to this offense. I mean,
it definitely opens up that passing game a little more as we've seen so far. We have Larkin back over to the sideline. Shea coming back in. Might have got dinged up, might have lost a helmet. But he's back in one play later. Albert Gallatin going to try to run one more play as the clock winds down. 6 seconds left in the first quarter. Shea gets the snap off, and that's going to be another QB keeper. Play blown dead. Once again, Brook all over that QB keeper.
And that's the end of your first quarter. Your score remains Albert Gallatin 6.
That's going to bring up 4th down for Colonial.
That does bring up 4th down for Albert Gallatin. That's going to end up being 4th and 2. As we finish the first quarter, Albert Gallatin leading the Brooke Bruins 6-0.
Which we really haven't seen the Colonials on a 4th down this year.
True, that is true.
I mean, maybe once. I'm trying to
I think at least once against Laurel Highlands.
But it hasn't been a common trend, so, I mean, keep that in mind.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, for a team that doesn't kick extra points down at the 10-yard line, there's some opportunity if you wanted to try to kick a field goal. However, do you kick a field goal when it's 4th and short? You're going to already pin the Brook offense deep if you try to hand it off to Loring once again.
Exactly. I mean, if you don't convert, you're giving your defense a great spot to put Brook in a tough situation early. So
it just seems to me that Albert Gallatin, aside from kickoffs, doesn't have much of a kicking game per se. Yeah. Every touchdown we've seen so far has been a 2-point conversion. So, I think that writes the script pretty well right there. You have a back that is designed for this. And if you don't get it, the worst that happens is Brook has a 90-yard drive ahead of them to try to get into the end zone. You still hold a 6-0 lead.
And it looks like the Colonials are going to elect to go for it based on their personnel package.
Tommy, another little highlight of the game, we actually have some of the band in attendance tonight for Albert Gallatin.
It's perfect.
Getting a little more back to normal every week. Cheerleaders once again in attendance. They were in attendance last week. The band was not here. We do have them this week. See what happens, 4th and 2. First play of the second quarter, man in motion, and that looks like it's going to be the first down right there.
Yep. And you have to expect the hard count there. I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, that is football 101. It's going to be a hard count on a 4th and short, 3rd and short, whatever the case may be.
Dead ball foul. Encroachment on the defense.
Encroachment on the defense is the call, so without even running time on the second quarter, Albert Gallatin, 1st and 10. 1st and goal, I should say.
Yep.
It's going to end up being a Colonial 1st and goal from the 5-yard line.
The 5-yard line of the Bruins.
Shea lining up under center. Going to be a quick toss to the end zone, and that was dangerous.
Yeah.
That was dangerous.
Pass incomplete intended for number 28, Caleb Lang. Got to bring up second down.
Lang has got his fair share of targets.
Yeah, I don't think he has a reception
I
yet.
don't believe he does either. That's what I was getting to. We need to get that guy a reception by the end of the game.
Because,
here.
I mean, besides that play, he's been getting open.
He has been. Yes, he has been open.
I think you have to run this ball in. It's too risky. I mean, you have such a strong running game.
Well, you're playing so well. I mean, 2nd and goal from the 5. You're playing so well in the short field with the run game, and you're playing so well passing with open field. I think you need to stick to that as there's a man in motion. There's a handoff to Loring. He's going to push his way forward, and that's going to be close. We're going to spot the ball. Looks like at about the 1-yard line. He got about as close as possible without getting in.
And
we're actually, if I can see that correctly, we're lined up on the visitor sideline. It looks like we're inside the 1-yard line.
That's about as close as it gets there.
Yep, 3rd and I'm going to say half a yard for Albert Gallatin, looking to score again early on. Shea looks like it's going to be an easy QB keeper. He's going to land in the end zone. Waiting for the ref signal before I say anything. That's a touchdown, Albert Gallatin.
Yeah, I mean, that's textbook. I mean, let the quarterback just fall forward.
Yep, that's the way to do it. I mean, you figure if Shea's 6'3", you have a yard to go. 6 feet's 2 yards right there, so let your guys in front of you block and just kind of fall forward. 11-11 left in the second quarter. Albert Gallatin scores, makes it 12-0. Going for another 2-point conversion, see if we can get it to 14-0 over the Brooke Bruins. Man in motion. That's going to be an outside toss for Bricky, running out of room. He may have got there. That's in.
Wow.
That is in. Knocks the pylon down.
It did not look like he was going to be able to turn that corner, and he just found a way to do it.
He definitely did. I mean, he laid out, and typically, if you can lay out and you didn't step out of bounds already, as long as you knock that pylon down, you're pretty set.
That's a safe bet.
That's a safe bet. 14-0 Albert Gallatin lead over the Brooke Bruins. Albert Gallatin kick team eager to get back onto the field.
Kicking off for the Colonials, number 10, Jace Bowers.
Jace Bowers getting set to kick off for Albert Gallatin.
Back to receive for the Bruins, number 26, Aaron Scipio, and number 6, Jace Campanelli.
And if you're Brooke, you need a decent return here.
Oh, absolutely. Bowers getting set to kick off from our right to left. going to be fielded by Campanelli's at the 20, cutting back inside to the 25. He gets tripped up at about the 26-yard line.
That's an acceptable return. I mean,
Not
it's not
bad.
going to make a highlight reel, but I mean,
Not bad.
It's gonna
I mean-
put your offense in an okay spot.
Hey, he fielded it, give or take the 10. So, I mean,
Yeah.
in the spot's the 27. So, call it at least a 15-yard return, I would say, if not maybe another yard or two. Anything outside, I would say the 15 is pretty good, pushing the 20 is pretty good, 25 and so
Yeah.
on is pretty solid for high school.
Well, that wasn't an easy kick to field either.
It wasn't. It was a bit of a bouncer, but I think that's what happened the first time Brook fielded the ball on the opposite end of the field here. I think it was a bouncer as well as Brook takes a snap. It's going to be an outside run to the left side, quarterback keeper.
And on the keeper, number 15, Joshua Shorts. Tackle made by number 28, Caleb Lang.
Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong, 10 minutes and 47 seconds to go in the second quarter. Is this Brook's second possession of the game?
And we're gonna second down and 5 for the Bruins. Ball
It
placed
may
at
be the
32-yard
third.
Regardless, that's a lot of time consumption by Albert Gallatin.
Yeah, it may be the second now that you mentioned
I
it,
believe
Robert.
this is the second time their offense has touched the ball already in the second quarter. Shorts passes to the outside, trying to get to the right, and Campanelli's going to be brought down pretty quickly.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the pregame discussion. Campanelli, 5'5", 155.
He is a very small back. Very small back. Has some jets, it looked like, as he ran to the outside. He just kind of ran out of space there. But, yeah, he is a freshman, no less. 5'5", 155 pounds.
And just to add some perspective, the right tackle for Brook, who is blocking for Campanelli, number 73.
That is Hayden Parr.
He's playing at 6 foot 345, so a lot of protection for
Yep.
Campanelli.
Yes, it is.
Pass complete, center for number 3, Anthony Machitsky.
Machitsky, the intended receiver on the Brook pass. Brings up fourth down. 9 yards to go, 28-yard line.
I'm wondering, looks like we're going to see a punt.
Yeah, we have Aaron Scipio in the backfield for Brook. There is a punt. It's going to be fielded for Bricky, running to the right side immediately. Decent little return.
He's still going.
He's still going, yeah.
Looked
Pushed
like
out
he
of bounds
might have
right around
broke the 50,
midfield.
yeah.
I have the referee on our side of the field. He's marking it at midfield.
Good return.
Great return.
And it closes ahead, first
Yeah,
and
Scipio, the punter for
10. Ball placed at
the
about
Brooke
50-yard
Bruins, listed on their roster. He's a wide receiver, a running back, a defensive back, and a special teams guy.
He does it all.
He does it all. I was gonna say I know at least one time I think he did something on offense on their first drive. I know I said his name
Yeah, I
once
remember the
already.
name. It looks like he's playing safety now, so really doing it all for Brook.
Really is, yeah. Yeah, that definitely looks like him. Albert Gallatin going for another drive. 1st and 10 from midfield. Shea's going to roll out to the left. Option to the left side. And that's going to be pretty easily. Effort.
Number 3, Antonio Effort. Brought down from
Looks
behind
like a
number 15,
6-yard
Joshua
gain, which
Short.
Nice little chunky yards on first down.
Gain of 6 yards on the play brings up 2nd down and 4 for the Colonials. Ball was placed at the 44-yard line of the Bruins.
Starting at the 50, kind of neutral territory, already in Brook territory after one play. 2nd and 4 from the 44.
And if you're the Brook defense, you have to be getting tired.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they've been on the field the whole game.
I would like to see, I'm not sure if we can attain it, as Loring pushes ahead for what's going to be very close to a first down. I think it's going to be a little over.
Number 44,
Do they do time of possession? Do they keep track of time of possession?
I don't
Are you
think
aware?
they do.
No, I wasn't
No.
sure if they do at this level or not.
Good for a Colonial
If
first
I had
down.
to guess, it would probably be a 75-25 split. at
I could
least.
definitely agree with that. And we're not even halfway through the second quarter. We're
Yeah.
at 8:22.
We place at the 40-yard
I mean, it's just the Brook defense. They've been.
8-18.
It's not like they're playing bad. I mean,
No, they're not playing poorly.
they're holding
Honestly,
the Colonials
Brook-
from a big run.
Honestly, Brook as a whole, I think they're playing well.
Yeah.
I do think they're playing well. They seem to be executing. I mean, they had those couple hiccups early in the game, but so did Albert Gallatin.
If you're the Colonials, I mean, you can call whatever you want, it seems like, and you're going to get relative success for the most part.
Well, we do have a flag as we're talking about calling anything we want and having success. See who it's on. Ooh, delay of game
Wow.
on the offense. That's a call you don't see too often in
And
high school.
It didn't seem like it was that long.
It didn't.
between-
It really didn't. But
I mean, somebody's keeping track of it, I guess.
absolutely. Make it a 1st and 15 from the Brook 45. And we have another whistle as soon as the ball snapped. Waiting to see what the signal is.
Wow.
And it's another false start by Albert Gallatin. I take that back. Not another false start, another penalty by Albert Gallatin
And
that
just
time.
like that, the Colonials match Brook in penalty yards
Yes,
pretty much on
yes.
offense.
1st and 20, back to the 50. Let's see if Albert Gallatin can overcome a 1st and 20, just as Brook did earlier in the game. Tommy, they're facing an early deficit here, 14-0, but this sideline is much more into this game than the Laurel Highlands sideline was, as Fabricki takes the right side
For
toss
the Colonials, number 2.
And
for about a 25-yard run, and there's a first down
yeah,
for Albert
that's how you
Gallatin.
take care of 1st and 20, I guess.
I take that back. It's about a 15-yard run.
And brings the ball up to the 37-yard line.
Going to be 2nd down. Got a little deceiving on the other side of the field there.
Here's what we got. 2nd down
I
and
mean-
7 for the Colonials.
That's all you can ask for on a 1st and 20 to get to 2nd and 7.
Much more manageable.
Yeah, for sure.
Much more manageable. So we have 2nd and 7 from the 37-yard line. We were just at the 50. Albert Gallatin looking to keep the ball. Hopefully find the end zone once again. Man in motion, ball snapped. Quick handoff to Loring. Going to drive even farther to make that a much more manageable 3rd down.
Loring, brought down by number 53, Stephen Hunter.
You go from what do we have, a 1st and 20 to a 3rd and 1?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
That's not bad. 3rd and 2 officially, it looks like,
Third
but
down and 2 for the Colonials.
that's pretty good efficiency. Looks like
Yeah.
they can match Brook in that sense here if they get the 1st down.
And I mean, with those two plays, you give yourself a chance to convert. I
Oh,
mean, that's the big
of
thing.
course.
Yeah, I
of
mean,
course.
and that's all your goal is. I mean,
Oh,
to
we're not
have a
looking.
chance.
It'd be great to score every play, but we're not looking
Yeah.
for the end zone every play.
Yeah, I mean,
As Albert Gallatin's going to take their first time out of the half.
Score remains Albert Gallatin.
First time out of the game, I should say. 6:09 left in the second quarter. 14-0 Albert Gallatin lead over the Brooke Bruins. Tommy, I don't know if I mentioned it while we have a little bit of a break here. This is more so where Albert Gallatin has been last year as opposed to when they played Laurel Highlands last week, since they have left the Whippeal. Brook out of Wellsburg, West Virginia, near the Wheeling area. Give or take about an hour and a half drive from here.
yeah, that's not a short road trip by
No.
any stretch.
No, in this case, it is Brook making the road trip, but Albert Gallatin set to make their fair share. I know they're playing a school around Martinsburg later in the season, Martinsburg, West Virginia. That's a bit of a haul, not to mention some other schools. We'll have to check back on that one, but definitely getting out of your comfort zone for both of these guys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe they played Brook last year whenever they did set up all the
No, I don't think
longer
they did.
longer distance games. The schools in West Virginia. I think there was a school or two in Maryland. So this, from what we believe, is the first meeting between these two guys.
And I just want to make one note about Brook to really give him credit as Loring gets a first down. Brook has really contained Loring relative.
They really have.
To,
they really have. I mean,
I'm sure he's going to have a good stat line, but I mean,
this
compared
game,
to last week,
from my understanding, this game was added due to some cancellations. Both of these schools had openings for this week to play each other, but I'd say less than 10 days ago. I think we knew about it last week.
Yep.
I'm not sure if we mentioned it
while
we were
earlier in the week.
Yeah, while we were on covering the game against Laurel Highlands, but they are doing a good job. If they got tape, I'm not sure, but they definitely know where the Colonials' strengths are.
Wow.
Oh, nice as Shea throws a ball right down the right side of the field.
And Caleb Lang catches
Is that Caleb Lang?
Yep,
there you go.
It was well worth the wait.
Absolutely. That's a nice way to do it. Shea to Lang, about a 28-yard touchdown pass.
That was a nice jump ball. I mean,
that was a nice jump ball. It was one-on-one. That was –
and the coverage was great.
Time kind of stands still there for a second when you have a pass like that.
You have to give the Brook cornerback a lot
of
credit.
That was good coverage. It was good coverage. Lang finally gets the monkey off his back. We get a reception for Lang. A touchdown, no less. 20-point lead now for Albert Gallatin in the second quarter. Man in motion for Albert Gallatin, going for two. Shea keeps the ball. It looks like he fell in. We still have some pushing and shoving. No good. No good.
And that's surprising because
he was awfully close to the goal line, but even the forward progress wasn't forward enough, unfortunately. But that's okay because Albert Gallatin is going to carry a 20-0 lead with 5:25 left in the second quarter. We'll now see one of what has been few offensive possessions from the Brooke Bruins. I mean, honestly, their time of possession has been their biggest killer right now.
And I really wouldn't even say it's their fault. I mean, it's just when you have a Colonial offense, it knows how to
even when they have the ball, I mean, yes, they have no points on the board. But they're not playing poorly. They're just not getting the ball.
Back to receive for the Bruins, number 6, Jason.
When they do have the ball, it's not a bad showing. They're moving, but they're just not getting it as Bowers kicks off. Have a reception by Brook all the way up to past the 20. That was a good heck of an open field tackle. That was the backup quarterback, Larkin, for Albert Gallatin. Bringing down Sippian once again. Sippian on the play for Brook.
I think football specialist is more of a title than all of the other.
I would say that.
I feel like he's done everything on offense, defense, special
teams.
He does it
cross all that stuff off and just write football player on it. The Bruins going to take over on offense. Joshua Shorts snapping the ball, making a quick handoff to the left side. Here's a nice run by Hukill.
I can't tell who made that tackle. Fabricki made that tackle.
Yeah, that is Fabricki.
Good run by Brook.
Nice run by Brook, yeah. Nice
move the chains.
Nice little motivator to get your drive started. 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line. One thing that Brook and Laurel Highlands early on, I mean, towards the end of the game, they had broke through pushing Colonial territory with 4:45 left to go in the second quarter.
And we have yet to see a pass from Brook, correct?
I believe there was one. It was an incompletion. Yeah. I think it was a 3rd down from Shorts. As that play is going to be stopped up pretty easily. Looked like Hukill again, potentially.
Number 34. Drake Hukill, tackle made by number 6, Dylan.
And I'm curious to see if Brook changes anything up, not so much with this drive, but maybe
8 for the
second half, try to do something a little different offense.
Right.
I mean,
Now,
we
whenever
saw
you get
last
the
week with
time to kind of
Highlands.
restructure, yeah.
Laurel Highlands, yeah. I mean, they changed it up, and
they did a 180 coming out of the locker room.
And their offense, I mean, they didn't put up points, but they definitely gained some yards.
Oh, yeah. I have to check in at halftime. I'm not sure if those guys are playing this evening. Check on some of the local teams. As there's a toss to the right side, and the ball's on the ground. Hukel recovers it in his own backfield. Well, it turned a little something out of nothing there.
A lot of missed tackles by the Colonials there.
That's a nice run. That is nice recovery. That's high football IQ to keep a level head there whenever you get a toss like that. Tosses are highly successful, but they can be highly dangerous at the same time. There you saw how the ball just kind of ended up on the ground in the backfield out of nowhere. But Hukel able to recover it. About a 10-yard run after he got the ball back in his hands, and he definitely had 5 guys in his face from Albert Gallatin.
Yeah, I mean, the Colonials, that was just poor tackling.
Yes. 3rd and 3 from the 44 for the Bruins. Ball's back in the shotgun. It's going to be a quarterback keeper for Shorts, and there he goes down the right sideline, being pulled out of bounds by Effort. A lot of these playmakers on offense making plays on defense now.
And Brook is putting together a decent drive.
Yeah, they're looking good here. Looking pretty good here so far. Trying to look, Joshua Shorts, pretty high stature. I mean, he's 5'11", but 235. Now that's a lot of core. It looks like, honestly, with him running that ball. Short snaps the ball. Going to be a quick handoff. It looks like Sipping again. Ball's out. And it looks like it's in the field. Let's see who has it. Ball definitely came out. It was close to the sideline.
Looks like recovered by the Bruins.
I think
that could have been very costly there after putting together a couple good plays.
After what has been a nice little drive here so far, that definitely could have sucked the momentum that the Bruins do have right back out of the sideline.
That would have been very deflating.
2nd and 10. That clock is their biggest factor currently. 2:20 left in the second quarter. They will receive for the second half, but they definitely want to try to get something now would be ideal. Shorts. Oh, quick pass nearly intercepted. That is number 21 of Albert Gallatin. That is James Marvin.
And pass incomplete.
Nice coverage on that play.
So there have been back-to-back plays where the Bruins saw any chance of a score at the end of the half and this dissipate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, their light flashed before their eyes. 2 straight plays on this one, and they still are able to maintain the ball.
And
looks like the Bruins going to take a timeout here.
That's an odd call. I mean, I understand, but I'd like to try to keep those timeouts for a running clock.
Yeah, the clock does stop after an incompletion, which is what we had. But needed a little extra time to talk it over.
I guess, yeah. Which, I mean, you have 3, so, I mean, it does make sense.
That's just the first for the Bruins. Albert Gallatin was the team that took one, so we do have 2 left with 2:08 to go. 2:08 to go until halftime. 20-0 Albert Gallatin lead. Brook looking at a 3rd and 10. Made it over to Colonial territory with those nice couple run plays from the 44-yard line.
Looks like Brook had some movement in the huddle, maybe some personnel changes trying to get the right matchup.
Yeah, I would say that would be the biggest factor to a move like this. They kind of want to shuffle up what they were going to do all together and just didn't have enough time to make those changes with the regular play clock since we already had a delay of game on the Albert Gallatin side. Snap back, Shorts looking for an outlet. Going to be a nice catch for minimal yards.
That's good defense by Colonials.
That is great defense by Albert Gallatin. Gus Gilbert on the reception for the Bruins.
And that was a zone defense by the Colonials, and I mean, it looked like
Gain of 5 yards on
the
the
Bruins
play.
had a guy open on the left side, and he was going to have, some space to work with. But you don't know what the sequence is of your wide receivers. And, I mean, if that's your first look and he's open on third down, you have to get rid of it.
I'll tell you what, Shorts had a lot of pressure in his face on that one, too, and that's what we saw the Colonials give Rodney Gallagher a lot of last week. 4th and 5, the Bruins going to go for it, I would say, with a minute left in the second quarter. Oh, that's a screen pass that fooled Albert Gallatin completely. Hukel's running down the middle of the field and is finally brought down.
Wow, I mean,
that fooled Albert Gallatin. Oh, we're going to run a little no huddle now.
Yeah.
Oh,
almost.
Hurry up, hurry up-ish.
And it's good for a Bruin first down.
So we're at a minute 12. That's a nice first down, especially on the 4th down play. They had Albert Gallatin in the palm of their hands on that play. 1st and 10. Let's see where we're at, about the 28-yard line or so.
Yeah, roughly around that.
Yeah, there's the ball.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the ball between the between the two officials. 28-yard line. 1:12 left until halftime. Bruins trying to get something on the scoreboard. Figure, Tommy, if the Bruins can find the end zone in this minute 12, they do receive the ball coming out of the locker rooms.
Yeah, I mean, they're not out of it by any stretch.
No, absolutely not. We could definitely have a little game going early in the third quarter if this goes the way of the Bruins. Albert Gallatin about to go their first 6 quarters into the season potentially without allowing a single point. I would say in recent years with the way this program has looked, that could be a long time since that has happened.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't even imagine really where we could dig that statistic up.
Oh, I don't know if I could even it's like you said, I don't even
exists.
know where to start. Yeah, it may not even exist. As Shorts is back, a lot of pressure to start, and he's down.
Back.
Dylan Shea on the sack.
And nobody even touched him.
He came right around the right side of the defense, the left side of the offense untouched. I mean, their left side of the offense, you definitely want to be protected, the most protective.
I mean, it was more of a question of how fast could he run 7 yards more so than how's he going to beat the
I'd say fast enough.
line.
Yeah,
I mean,
fast enough. Nobody picked him up. He was right in for the easy sack. 43 seconds and winding now. Bruins looking at a 2nd and 16 from the Colonial 32-yard line. Shorts back in the shotgun, snaps the ball. He's going to drop back for another pass. There's another couple guys in his face, and that is in and out of the hands of Gus Gilbert.
That's a crucial drop right there.
That was a crucial drop.
Because he had space.
He had space. He could have made something happen. If nothing else, we saw a lot of impressive field goal kicking from the Bruin side of the field during warm-ups. You kick a field goal from the 10-yard line. That 26, 27-yard field goal. Field goals
it definitely
and
would have
warm-ups.
been in range. Yeah. I mean,
that does stop the clock, so we're at 30 seconds until halftime. Shorts back in the shotgun, and they're going to fool Albert Gallatin again. Not quite. Not
the screen
quite
was
as
set up. Just
the screen was set up. Not quite as many guys bid on that one. I'm all for pursuing the quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but keep a couple more of those guys aware of that screen pass because I'm sure we're going to see it in the second half. Like you said, Tommy, that was just a misplaced throw.
I mean, he had a guy, and I mean, he probably would have gone him close to field goal range and just. But he had a lot of guys in his face as well.
He did.
So, I mean,
he did. It definitely skews your vision. Shotgun snap for Shorts, fake handoff, and the ball's going to be batted down by Dylan Shea at the line of scrimmage.
And the Colonials will take over
Wow.
down to 20.
That was a 4th down,
Yeah,
so
that
that is
hurts
a
for the
turnover.
Bruins.
That is it for the Bruins. 1st and 10, Albert Gallatin with 22 seconds to go. See what happens here. I would expect a quick kneel. Quick quarterback kneel and a jog to the locker room, but we'll see if they want to run a play or two.
Yeah, I mean, at this
They
part
do
of
have
the
2
field,
timeouts.
Yeah, I mean, but at this portion of the field, you don't want to give it.
No, you're looking at a
takeaway.
68-yard drive in 22 seconds, so I think we're going to see a quick see what happens. Shea under center. There is a quick kneel.
And the Colonials will take a knee, and we'll go into the half. Your score, Albert Gallatin 20.
The
Bruins
PA announcer beat us to it.
Yep.
But as both of the teams jog off the field, Albert Gallatin, we're going to let the clock expire on the second quarter. So our halftime score is going to end up being 20-0 in favor of Albert Gallatin. The Brooke Bruins not having a bad game, just can't quite get that momentum, can't quite get those drives rolling. We'll see what transpires in the second half. I'm Rob Vlakovich alongside Tommy Victor. We will bring it to you in just a little bit.
Buckle up for safety, buckle up. Buckle up for safety, always buckle up. Put your mind at ease, tell your riders, please get your seat belts buckled, everybody buckle up.
The National Safety Council says if you don't have seat belts, get them. If you do have seat belts, use them.
Once there was a little boy who liked to visit his friends, the trees.
Hello, tree.
Hello, boy.
How's the little fella today?
Now, the little boy had a lot of fun with his friends and learned some very interesting facts about the trees. Their roots hold vital soil in place and prevent erosion. Their leaves replenish the oxygen in the air. Their summer shade preserves the moisture. Their falling leaves enrich and protect the soil, making a better world for all of us. Yes, trees are everybody's friends. So the next time you're visiting your friends, the trees, make sure you crush out cigarettes. Make sure you drown out campfires. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
Welcome back to York Run Stadium, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rob Vlakovich alongside Tommy Victor, bringing you the game, Albert Gallatin versus the Brooke Bruins. About a minute 55 here left on the clock until halftime's over, going into the second half. Albert Gallatin still holding on to a 20-0 lead over Brook. Albert Gallatin between one full game against Laurel Highlands last week and one full half against Brook this week. Yet to give up a single point.
That's great. I mean, and that's a testament to the defense and the offense because, I mean, the offense has really held on to the ball for a majority of their 6 quarters so far.
It's like what we talked about. I mean, just in this game specifically, I mean, we got to a point where we were running low on the second quarter here, and Brook had touched the ball for the second time in the entire game, as Albert Gallatin is coming back onto the field out of the locker room.
And if you're Brook, you need to have something different in the second half.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they look a lot more composed, I guess is the word. I mean, they're in their offense. Their sideline is fired up. I mean, they have some fans not in the stadium, but they do have some people, backing them. They're pretty fired up still. So, I mean, the energy is there, and I think the game plan is there. They just need to get a little something sparked up here. I mean, they do receive the ball coming out of halftime, so that's a positive for those guys that Albert Gallatin doesn't get the ball right back again.
And a big thing to note, I mean, the folks at home really can't observe this because of just we have the advantage of being on the sideline. But it seems like Brook is more of a team mentality than Laurel Highlands was.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where it comes down to it. I mean, are you unified or are you just in it for yourself to see if you can get some stats, if you can be on the football team, whatever, These guys are definitely a core group, whereas Laurel Highlands was definitely a little more individualized, I think.
And I think it's easy to be, we're all in this together, we're a team when you're winning. But when you're losing, that's when you find out how much chemistry your team actually has. And I mean for Laurel Highlands, it was a rough night. That's the best way to say it. And it showed with the sideline where here, Brook's down by 20 points. But you know what? You don't see people fighting. You don't see arguing. You see a team.
I mean, Albert Gallatin holds a 20-point lead at the half of this game specifically. Last week we saw them hold, I believe, was a 24-point lead at the half. Laurel Highlands had a 10-minute drive home. These guys have an hour and a half. Yeah. If any of these teams is going to be a little more out of it, you would think it would have been these guys tonight.
For sure, yeah.
But they're staying in it. I think they have a good energy. Hopefully they rework some things in the locker room at halftime, and they can get some points on the board. Make that drive home a little bit easier. Like we said earlier, these guys are up around the Wheeling area in Wellsburg, West Virginia.
And I wouldn't say that Brook has really played bad. I mean, I wouldn't label it as a poor performance.
I don't think they're playing poor by any means. I just think, I truly think Albert Gallatin is just playing much more superior as the score reflects. But we saw a lot of what I kind of think were issues last week. Laurel Highlands game plans, personnel. I think that they were shooting themselves in the foot to an extent. These guys, they're not playing poorly.
No, and I mean, besides the penalties, they really haven't made a ton of mistakes. I mean, it's not like we've seen them put the ball on the ground a lot, fumbling or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, it's just AG has played better. I mean, that's a simple thing. It's not that Brook is bad by any stretch. It's just AG has been the better football team.
For sure. Bauer's going to be set to kick the ball off for Albert Gallatin as we get the second half of play underway.
Number 6, Jace Campanelli. And number 26, Aaron Sipier.
Ball's away. Another decent kickoff. Bounce at about the 20. Going to be received by Sipien. And, he's gone immediately. Yep. Sipien's going to run the whole way down the field. The 25, 20, 15, 10,
wow.
5. Sipien returns the opening kickoff, but there is a flag.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
There is a flag. This could be trouble. Let's try to hear what the situation is.
And the nice thing about not having fans, you could hear everything on the sideline.
I'm going to say that was on Brook. And that kickoff is coming back.
Wow. That touchdown being neglected just.
Brook will remain scoreless. I mean, that's a good. I mean, you see that it's possible at that point, but unfortunately, they're going to wipe the touchdown off.
Along with a lot of yardage, though. I mean,
that you give up. You go from a touchdown to you're starting on the 42-yard line. Not a terrible place to start, but 6 points would have been a lot better.
Yeah, that's a tough.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Let's see if they can keep their heads in it like they did in the first half. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. Shorts back, quick hand off to Hukill. And that's a nice run to the right side by Hukill. That should be a first down from Brook right out of the gate. So not too bad recovering from that penalty. Going to go ahead and make it another 1st and 10 from the Colonial 46-yard line.
And Brook is
in Colonial territory. Yeah, they didn't miss a beat. Shorts under center, snaps the ball, quick handoff to Hukill again. He's going to take the other side. He's past the 40, pushed out of bounds, pushing about the 35-yard line, which is going to be close to even another first down. Hukill is really moving coming out of the locker room.
You can definitely tell this Brook team has A, a plan, and B, the motivation.
Oh, yeah. That's a first down. They're going to signal for the first. So back-to-back plays, net back-to-back first downs for the Brooke Bruins. 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line of Albert Gallatin. Brook coming out like a whole nother team. Going to be a QB keeper. Shorts runs to the right side. There is the second down for Brook in the
it's still
second
a decent
half.
game.
Yeah, still not a bad half, especially for a QB keeper.
It definitely looks like Shorts is taking command of this team. I mean,
it really does.
He's locked in.
See if they can keep it alive.
Ball places the 43-yard line to the Colonial. Correction.
Shorts under center. Getting away from that shotgun offense as we have another quarterback keeper up the middle. Oh, we might have a loose football. This could be trouble once again for Brook. This could be trouble once again. Let's see who has it. We're fighting for it on the bottom of the pile. That's Albert Gallatin football.
Wow.
Albert Gallatin football. The Colonials, somebody finally gave up a fumble. We've had a couple in the game, and they've all been recovered by the same team, but, boy, that is trouble. You gave up the opening kickoff, which resulted in a flag. They had fantastic energy after that flag and drove down the field, and just kind of like what happened to Laurel Highlands last week, they gave up a couple turnovers when they had the ball finally down in scoring position, and Colonials take over. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line, 10:22 left in the third quarter.
Yeah, and those are 2 tough pills to swallow if you're Brook.
I'll tell you, to have the game plan that it looked like they have as Shea hands off to Loring to the right side. They looked like they had an awful nice game plan coming out of the locker room. Not saying that they can't recover, but if Albert Gallatin scores on this drive, just like last week, you're running out of ball game. Yep. And I could probably tell you, if long as there's no turnover, Albert Gallatin's going to hang on to this ball for a while.
Yeah, it'll be a while before Brook touches the ball, pending a turnover or a quick score by the Colonials.
Absolutely. Albert Gallatin coming up to the line. Dylan Shea still under center. Dylan Shea having a good game all around.
Oh.
And we do have a flag. Going to blow that play dead.
I'm not sure what this one's going to be.
Let's try to listen in here. Dead ball. Delay a game again on Albert Gallatin. Wow.
5-yard penalty. Still second.
That's
becoming a trend.
That is, yeah. I haven't heard of too many delay of game calls at the high school level, let alone twice in one night here. Albert Gallatin working on a 2nd and 11 now. That play's going to be sniffed out quick by the Bruin defense.
That's a rare loss by Loring on a run.
Just like that, Albert Gallatin with a 3rd down.
Loring, no gain on a play.
I like to see Colonials try to use Shea's arm a little more.
I was just thinking that. I'd like to see him. He's been having good luck through the air. Let's see if they could get another quick gainer. It seems like that's when they've been trying to use his arm is for those quick gainers. This isn't a 3rd and 2 like we saw with Loring. That's a toss to the right side for Bricky, blown up in the backfield.
Yeah, they had that sniffed all around. I mean, they had a beat on for Bricky, and he had nowhere to go.
Nowhere at all. That's going to bring up 4th down for Albert Gallatin. Going to be about a 4th and 16. Going to see Colonials. I believe this is the first time they're punting this evening.
Did they punt it all last week?
I want to say once or twice. As the snap's back. Kick is up. That's a high arcing punt. Takes a nice
It looked like
Brook
bounce.
Might have
touched it though, and
it ended up. It looks like they treated it like a live ball, but Albert Gallatin downs it. So Brook definitely could have touched that ball, but they do take over.
With good field position.
Yeah, they took a nice Brook bounce, and it's like you said, it may have touched one of their players. I mean, I know a lot of guys were flying downfield. They didn't necessarily have their heads up watching the ball. We could hear from the sideline the coaches yelling to kind of get out of the way, because the last thing that these guys need at this point in the game is for that ball to land on somebody's head, and it's a live ball.
Without a doubt, yeah, that would be very hard to come back from at that point.
Absolutely. So Brook taking back over. Albert Gallatin only shaves about 2 minutes off of the clock. Shorts is with a quick handoff to Hookill. He's going to run to the right side. He's down to the 30-yard line before he's stopped up.
And that's a great run.
That is a great run.
Number 34, Drake Hookill,
This team is not going down without a fight.
They're not. They are still fighting after everything that has happened to these guys and the kind of the slower start in the second half here with the issue with the fumble. They're moving right down the field once again. 1st and 10 from the Albert Gallatin 26-yard line. 7:44 and winding in the third quarter.
And I mean, the Bruins are still fired up, without a doubt. I mean, you look
They
at the
are.
sideline.
Yeah, they are.
They're ready to
I mean,
play.
that's a good trait to have. Short snaps the ball, hand off to Hukill. He finds room on the right side. He's going to be brought down. Going to be brought down by 77 for Albert Gallatin. That is Brady Shore. Had a couple tackles last week for Albert Gallatin.
And right now, the Bruins line is just winning the battle. I mean,
They
they're winning in
absolutely
the
are.
trenches, and it's showing. I mean,
we saw late in the second quarter there, whenever the Bruins had a shot to score, we saw Dylan Shea fly right off of that line and not even be touched. And they're definitely keeping the inside contained. And you keep the inside contained, you can kind of fan out, and that's how they're getting success with these outside runs.
I mean, if you watch the battle, the Colonial defensive line is getting no penetration.
Absolutely not. That's going to be another quick handoff to the right side. Was that? That's a new number for the Brooke Bruins. That is Roger Gabbert III, running the ball to the right side. Going to bring up a 3rd and 8 for the Bruins. Curious to see how they handle this.
Yeah.
I'd honestly like to see. Obviously, I'd like to see Albert Gallatin pitch another shutout here, but I'd really like to see that kicker get into the game for the Bruins. This is in his range.
Yeah.
It was impressive to watch as Bruins snapped the ball, and that pass is going to be way off. I'm not sure if somebody tipped it.
Broken up by number 2, Bruno Fabrici.
Bruno Fabrici had hands on it, unable to come up with the interception, but nonetheless brings up a 4th and 6 for the Bruins.
Yeah, we're looking at probably around –
what would this be? 23, about a 40-yard field goal.
38 to 40. I mean,
yeah, depending on the spot.
I feel like it wouldn't hurt. I mean, pending what happens on this play, it wouldn't hurt to try for it. I mean,
it's kind of like what we talked about with Albert Gallatin deep in the Bruin territory. The worst thing that happens is you give your opponent a long field to work with, but they are going to opt for an offensive play on 4th and 6. Short snaps the ball back in the shotgun. Going to fire a pass down the field, laying on the coverage.
Wow.
And it looks like it's caught. And it is caught. That is a touchdown, Brook. 4th and 6. 23-yard touchdown pass.
It's a shame because Ling was in great coverage, but he never turned around.
He did not turn around. And I'll tell you, I watched Shorts. From the second he snapped that ball, I couldn't tell who the receiver was, but he had his eyes glued on him the whole time.
Yeah, I mean
I knew from here that ball was going to the left side of the field, and Lang was right with him. He just didn't turn around.
And, he just fell into the trap of, I'm going to stick with this guy,
Yes.
Not turning around, seeing where the ball's at. I mean, it's a shame because, he did have great coverage.
And there's an extra point kick. So your score now, Bruin cuts into that deficit a little bit. We've got 5:58 left in the third quarter. Albert Gallatin, in their 7th straight quarter, has now given up points for the first time this season. 20-7 is what the Colonial lead is trimmed to.
And the Colonials can't have another lackluster drive.
No, they cannot. They really need to, it wouldn't be a shock if they ran out the rest of this quarter with 5:58 left in the third, and that's almost what they need.
The big thing is the Colonials have to be able to keep gaining yards. I mean, it's okay if it takes you, say, 6 minutes to get into the end zone or 6 minutes to get down to
a monotonous drive is no problem if you get in the end zone. It doesn't matter how you run the drive if you get into the end zone. I mean, that's been Albert Gallatin's game plan so far, so that's what they need to do. Bruins going to kick the ball off to Albert Gallatin. Nice kickoff. Going to be fielded by, is that Effort? And it bounces right by him. And that's going to be dangerous fielding the ball. Let's see what he can do up the right side of the field. Well, I'll tell you what.
He He made enough out
That
of it.
wasn't bad.
That
was okay.
That was comment. You know, he did not. I don't understand why he just didn't run up and field that in the air. He tried sitting back, and
sure.
never.
He might have lost it in the light, maybe. I'm not sure.
But that's never a good idea to sit back on that one.
Yeah, that was an interesting to watch the ball bounce like that, and he turned it out of nothing. But I don't know if I'd be picking the ball up every time at about the 3-yard line. I don't know if I'd be able to pick that one up.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like he could have fielded it in the air and would have had momentum going forward, but instead decided to sit back on it. You're not going to be able to read the bounce of a football.
Right. It did work out.
It did, yeah.
It did work out. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. Albert Gallatin takes over on offense. Shea's going to be back. He's going to fire a quick pass. It's going to be caught. Is it caught? I can't. Catch is made. Okay.
Caleb Lang.
The Bruins had a nice hit on Lang, who came up with the reception. That's the only reason it was a little questionable there for a second. But there's a first down for Albert Gallatin now. Something we didn't see in their previous drive.
And I definitely think they have to let Shea throw the ball a little bit because, I mean, he's finding rhythm with these receivers.
He's on target. He's definitely, he's putting it right in the breadbasket, as they say, these receivers. The only time that he's not putting it right in their breadbasket is when he's catching them in stride or throwing a jump ball up to the end zone. And that's the times that you don't want to do that, of course. Man in motion. Snap back, toss to the left side. Looks like we're going to have a very nice gain all the way past the 50, close to the 45 of the Bruins. That is number 13, Matsis Chapman, who we named a few times last week. There is a flag. But that play is coming back. That is, I've already seen the referee signal. It's Albert Gallatin. We'll have to see what the call is.
Illegal formation.
That's a
illegal formation.
Yeah, that was
illegal
a late flag
formation
for that
on
one.
Albert Gallatin. Yeah, you would think you would see that before the ball was snapped, but Matsis Chapman's run into Bruin territory now results in a 1st and 15 at Albert Gallatin's own 29-yard line.
I mean, you would almost think that would have been maybe illegal motion.
A lot of interesting
when the flag
calls.
Was thrown. I
yeah.
mean, it was late.
The delay of games, the illegal
exactly.
formation. We're getting a little out of the comfort zone with the penalties. Not the typical holding or encroachment or, all that fun stuff as the ball's snapped. Shea's going to keep it himself, try to move forward, chip away at that 1st and long.
And number 6, Dylan Chan, the keeper.
It looked like Shea took a hit from his own player.
He definitely could have. We do have an injury on the field. It is a player from Brook. We'll get some coaches and trainers out there to tend to him. Again, as it usually goes when we are watching, it's a little tough to see who it is, but we will we'll get a number here as soon as they get him up. Looks like he's sitting up. Not quite sure what happened.
I couldn't tell.
It's tough when you're in the role that we are and kind of have to focus on the ball. It's tough to see. He was definitely kind of back in the backfield.
Yeah, it was definitely something. I don't know. It may have been like chop. I mean, I couldn't tell.
Who knows?
Yeah.
He's not really.
It was an awkward spot.
Yeah. 4:31 left in the third quarter. Wondered if he didn't potentially go helmet to helmet or something like that because he's not really indicating a leg injury or something like that. But getting the care that he needs, so that's all that matters at the moment.
This is your longer than average injury, and looks like
we do have. Looks like he is now sitting up. He must have continued to lay down completely. They've helped him sit up. He's still sitting down. Like you said, Tommy, kind of you're longer than average as he does regain.
33, Blake Short.
He's up on his feet now. That is number 33 for the Brooke Bruins, Blake Shorts. Sophomore. Walking off under his own power, that's always a good sign as well. Let him get tended to. Going to continue the game here. Looking at a 2nd and 12 from the 32-yard line. Albert Gallatin going to try to drive ahead for that result of that penalty. Is there's another toss to the right side, and Fabricki is leveled in the backfield.
And that's his second time now. They've just been all
I think
over
that's the
that
second
play.
time straight.
Yeah.
I think that's the second time straight. So Brook has definitely sniffed that play out,
Well,
it looks
I
like.
think they're honing in on the run. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's where they've been. That's where Albert Gallatin's been for 2 straight weeks now.
And one thing I think the Colonials, you have the opportunity with Shea under center. They don't have film on him. So
True.
I mean,
Yeah, this is our first look at Shea
Yeah.
as long as we've been doing this and he's been on the team. Whatever comes first as he's under center. We'll see if he airs it out. 3rd and 19. He is going to drop to the right side. He's going to throw a ball. Has a man, and that's another jump ball. I think that's Lang, and it looks like a catch. That is a reception.
and that was great by the receiver to come back to the ball.
Absolutely, yeah. He kind of played it the same way that Albert Gallatin gave up that touchdown. I think the receiver hadn't turned around quite yet, and looked like Caleb Lang once again on the reception. He turned around quick enough and came to the ball, and sometimes that's what you have to do to get that reception. So Albert Gallatin moves the ball into Brook territory. 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Going to keep this drive moving. 3:20 left in the 3rd quarter.
And I feel like if you're the Colonials, you have to open up the playbook to let Shea throw because, I mean, he has been pretty decent so far.
I mean, just counting off the top of my head, trying to keep track as Albert Gallatin runs another play, which is probably going to result in another 1st down. It's a run to the right side. I want to say that was Loring.
It was. Yeah.
It was Loring?
Yep.
I mean, Shea is every bit of, I'd say 5 for 8, 6
Something,
for
yeah.
9, something like that. He's definitely completing a lot more than he's throwing than is not being received.
And he's been under pressure on all of the passes. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's moving around in the pocket. This isn't a guy that's just dropping back, getting 5-6 seconds to, go through his routes and everything. He's finding guys open. He's getting rid of the ball, but he's being chased down while he's doing it. 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. Albert Gallatin with the man in motion. Quick handoff to Loring once again. And this is kind of the
He just
form we
barrels
saw
through.
him in last week more so. Didn't call on his number quite as much in the first
No.
half as they did last week, but I think it comes down to Dylan Shea airing the ball out a little more than we saw.
Gain of 7 yards on the play.
Well, and you can't
Bring up
expect to
2nd down
have
and 3 for the Colonials.
someone take 15 to 20 carries a game in a
Right.
high school game. I mean,
Right.
especially the way he's running. I mean, it's down the middle, hard yards. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's not like a sweep to the outside where you're stepping out of bounds. I mean, he is taking a beating on every single run.
Albert Gallatin keeping the quarter alive. 2nd and 3. Going to be a run to the inside. Loring once again. He is plowing ahead. Almost
Wow.
got to the end zone, but they come from behind to knock him down. That was a nice run.
Made by number 16.
It's going to be
1st and goal from the
Yep.
2.
Good for the Colonials.
He nearly made it.
Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line where the Colonials will have 1st and goal. With a minute 35 left in the quarter.
See if Albert Gallatin can find the end zone once again.
and we'll see if they call on Loring for, I think, the 4th consecutive play.
It's 3rd or 4th. They've been getting a lot out of him this drive. Man in motion. This definitely could go to Loring. It's going to be that Dylan Shea keeper once again on the goal line.
I will say that's a fight.
We're going to be awfully
Yeah.
close. Neither team letting up on that one, and it looks like Brook is going to hold them. And right back to where we were earlier in the game. It's going to be on about the half-yard line. 2nd and goal.
I mean, that's I thought the one earlier in the game was as close as you could get. I think that
I think you were incorrect.
Yeah.
I think we have been proven wrong here in the 3rd quarter. Albert Gallatin's 2nd and goal, knocking on the door. I would be shocked if it wasn't a keeper once again. It goes. Looks like it went to Loring, and looks like he was easily in. Yep. Yes, that is a touchdown, Albert Gallatin. And Tommy, they almost did it. There's 11 seconds left in the 3rd quarter now that they have scored.
Their score now, Albert Gallatin 26.
They almost did it, but like we said, it either would result in the quarter running out or a touchdown, and that's exactly what happened. 26-7 with 11 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Albert Gallatin in the end zone once again. We're waiting for an extra point or 2-point conversion. We'll probably see the 2-point conversion.
Most likely.
Snaps back to Shea. He's looking for the end zone. Fires a pass in there, but that ball is on the ground, and I see flags.
We would have a flag on the play.
We'll see what happens here. It was an incomplete pass, but there is a flag on the ground. There's a lot of contact between that receiver and defensive back. Defensive pass interference. So we're going to replay the conversion attempt. It is going to go from the 2-yard line to the 1-yard line. So 2-point conversion attempt for Albert Gallatin from the 1-yard line.
And I'll be honest, Robbie, I don't understand the play call for a short pass there.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting.
But, I mean, you have a demanding lead. Maybe open the playbook up.
It's okay to try some stuff, yeah. Man in motion, Shea back, and there's another short pass. That time it's going to be caught by Fabricki for an easy conversion. I almost said score in a way.
Yeah.
So another short pass. That was more of a kind of turnaround, like a 1-yard turnaround as opposed to like a slant. But nonetheless, Albert Gallatin extends the lead 28-7 with 11 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. And Tommy will kick the ball off here back to the Bruins, and that's probably going to be the extent of the 3rd quarter. We'll see here what happens as soon as we get both teams back onto the field.
Let's see if the Bruins could have another return and hopefully not have the touchdown wiped away.
Yeah, that would be money for those guys. Cut the lead in half.
Yeah.
Make it 28-14. Albert Gallatin set to kick off. Bowers is going to boot the ball. Ooh, kind of a squib kick, and that's going to be...
They're going to make sure he doesn't return.
Yeah, they're going to make sure there's no return on that one. Squib kick across the ground, recovered by, I'm running through my list here, Evan Keener.
Which I think that was by design for the Colonials.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I would hope so. Bowers for Albert Gallatin, though we don't see a whole lot of extra points. We're just seeing kickoffs. He's really booting the ball deep.
Yeah.
That goes for last week as well.
Which that was a great squib kick.
Yeah, that was a great squib kick. It was you kind of want that worm burner just hanging like a foot off of the ground. You don't necessarily want to see it bounce the whole way back. So yeah, that was a nice little maneuver by Bowers. Shorts is going to snap the ball, hand off to the right side. Hookill's cutting back. Nice little gain. Going to run out the 3rd quarter for the Bruins, which it has.
And that's the end of your 3rd quarter on that play.
Headed to the 4th quarter, 28-7 lead. Albert Gallatin once again has controlled the game. Brook doing a nice job, though, facing the deficit. Keeping momentum up, keeping energy up, keeping attitude up.
stadium immediately.
It is hard to go as far as these guys have to be looking at a 28-7 deficit in the fourth quarter, but their attitude has really been fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean
these guys will definitely
not
play. They'll play hard until the last snap.
Which we saw something they did on the sideline when it turned over to the fourth quarter. I don't know what it was. I think they were holding.
Yeah, they had a little gesture
yeah.
thing that the whole team did, which is that's good. Like we said, like the energy, the attitude. You know, they're still holding their heads high.
And they should, because I mean they haven't played bad. I mean,
no, they haven't. They've not played bad at all.
And as for the Colonials, I mean, you really can't ask for much more.
No. Nope, you cannot. I was going to say, I mean, the only thing that I could say was a takeaway for Albert Gallatin from last week to this week is do it all again the way they did it, and that's what they've done.
Now, I will say this week, it's definitely noticeable that there have been more penalties for the
Colonials. There has been on both sides,
yeah.
I would say both sides. There have been a decent amount of penalties. Shorts drops back, going to roll out to the right side, whip a ball downfield, has a man in stride. I think the referee caught it right on the sideline. Got some cheers on the Colonial sideline for the referee. Nice coverage from Efford, staying with the man, running in stride.
And I think one thing we should also note with the Colonials, it's difficult to keep the same energy as a team such as the Bruins are coming out screaming still when you have a 21-point lead.
Oh yeah,
I mean it's hard to. It's crucial that you're able to keep up with them.
It almost kind of gets in your head with the lead because you're like, wow, what can we really do to put these guys down? That's a nice stiff arm from Shorts, but the Colonial defense is going to swarm him.
Which that's something we didn't see last week where Laurel Highlands, I mean, it was deflated.
Their heads were hanging.
Yeah, by the start of the fourth quarter.
Yes,
I mean,
they were gone.
They were there to run the clock out, it felt like. Where, I mean, the Bruins, they're not stopping.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think this is the first quarter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a ton of respect for these guys in that sense. I mean, they're not playing poorly. Albert Gallatin, I mean, I think has just outmatched them. But to have the energy to still be playing hard and all that stuff, that's a lot of respect due for these guys. Got the chain gang out here. On what was a 3rd and 4, going to be close to a first down for the Bruins. It looks like they're going to get it. Yep, looks like it was over. So moving right along, still trying to put some drives together. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. They really line up very deep for the huddle, though. I have noticed that. They're running 15 yards.
I noticed that about 2 plays ago. I thought there was a penalty there.
Yeah, right. Shorts is going to, triple option action. Toss to the left side.
That was a good block by number 89.
89 would be
Curtis Leonard.
Leonard, and then the ball carrier was Aaron Scipio once again.
Leonard definitely sealed the edge.
Yeah, he did, absolutely. I mean, that was a nice recognition. Looked like a little triple option.
Yeah.
Could have went for the pass, could have went for the direct, kind of the direct handoff or the toss as your third option. But smart read by Shorts, good block by Curtis. Another option. Shorts hands off. Another nice run.
And
that's going to be
another
Hukill.
First down, I think.
I would surely think so.
Yep.
Chains are moving. And that's like we talked about. This is a nice little drive for Brook at this stage in the game. 11-12 left in the fourth quarter. 28-7 Albert Gallatin lead.
They've been working to the sidelines where they're getting a little bit of, stoppage in clock here and there.
Absolutely. Another option handoff.
Big hit.
That is a huge hit on number 6, Campanelli.
And Kenner number 6, Jace Campanelli, tackled me by number
but
8, Tyler
another
Bell.
first down run. Albert Gallatin getting a little fooled. I think that's 3 straight option plays. Getting a little fooled by the option here.
About the 21-yard line of the Colonials.
Yeah, the Bruins aren't – they're not fazed by this deficit.
No, they really aren't. And there's don't want to call it an option, but kind of a trick play. Fake handoff, quarterback keeper to the left side. Shorts hangs onto the ball.
And on the quarterback keeper, number 15, Joshua Short. Tackle man, number 72, Gation Bircher.
Bircher for the Colonials. He's been on the last couple plays on defense.
Bring up second down and 5 for the Bruins.
Creeping up on 10 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Bruins definitely the best drive they've had of the game, 2nd and 5. Weaving up the left side of the field, that's Hukill, and he's just barely going to reach the edge of the goal line.
And I think we're going to get another spot within like the 2-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be a trend here. We're going to end up with a 1st and goal from the 3 for the Bruins, the closest they've gotten to the end. Well, I take that back. They did score, but I think it was like a 23-yard passing play or so. So see if they can punch it in again.
Yeah, this will be our first look at their goal line offense.
Goal line offense is a better way of putting it. And it's going to be a keeper from Shorts. He rolls to the right side, and they're going to mark him down outside of the goal line. See what Brook can do with the goal line offense. See what Albert Gallatin can do with the goal line defense, because this is the first time they've had their backs against the wall. First time they've had their backs against the wall this season. Too bad we're only on our 2nd game, but that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely a goal line set on offense.
Yep,
Short's he's gonna walk in. Yeah, that's gonna be a touchdown, Brook.
I mean, you're talking a 2-score game if this extra point goes through. So
let's see what happens here. Brook scores late to add to their total. 28-13 Colonial lead, 8:57 left in the fourth quarter, waiting on an extra point attempt from Brook.
Point number 18, Quinlan Blair.
Oh, and it's going to be blocked. Looks like Fabricki was able to block it.
Albert Gallatin, 28.
So the score will remain the same as just stated, 28-13 Colonial lead over the Brooke Bruins.
Which, I mean, it is still a 2-score game. I mean,
it is.
Regardless of,
it is.
But if you're Brook, you have to make sure that you, I don't want to say stop the Colonials with some time, because I know that's very complex.
That's a little tough to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
little tough to do.
That's a very high demand. But, I mean, you have to try to have a short series by the Colonials here and just stop them. You know, you want a 3-and-out, 4-and-out, get the ball back, hopefully do something to where you're on. Because, let's be honest, Brook also runs the clock down. I mean, they're not
They just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just did. Yeah, it's definitely possible on both sides. We'll just see who outlasts who at this point. Brook's really going to have to turn it around quick, though. They still have a shot with a 28-13 deficit on the scoreboard, but stranger things have happened. Brook set to kick the ball off. Wouldn't be surprised to see something interesting on this kick. There is an onside kick. We kind of saw that coming. I think we have a loose ball. I think Brook might have the ball.
Without a doubt.
That is Brook's ball. Onside kick works.
And I couldn't tell. Was that number 12 that had it and then he lost it?
I was not able to see. I tried to even stand up a little bit. We're right above the sideline of Brook, so those guys were hugging the field, wanting to see what was happening. So let's see what Brook can do. 8:53 left in the fourth quarter. They regained possession on the onside kick. Tommy, I'm surprised the Colonials weren't expecting that a little more at this stage in the game.
Yeah, I mean, with 8:53 left, they know they're going to need to get the ball back quick.
Right. Shorts back, handoff to Hukel. He's up the left side, finds a little hole at the end there.
Hukel was putting together a nice little game.
He is. Yeah, he's definitely been the star of the offense, I think, for Brook.
Carries the ball out to about the 43-yard line of the Colonials.
1st and 10 for the Brooke Bruins. Turns into 2nd and 4, 43-yard line.
Another clock stoppage.
Another
Just to
clock
keep that
stoppage.
in mind. I mean,
You want to hug those sidelines when you're in
For
this
sure.
position. Another option play. That is going to go to number 9, Gabbert.
down to about the 30. And
They're chipping away, Tommy.
wow, I mean,
Now this sideline's very fired up
we are
now.
a Colonial-based
Yes.
broadcasting crew. But I will say this. It is very impressive, the energy that Brook is carrying.
These
And,
guys are
I mean,
playing hard. You got to respect it no matter what side you're on. These guys are playing hard. They're not giving up, and, boy, it's paying off for them right now. We'll see if they can carry it to the finish line. Another fake handoff play. Hukill once again running down the sideline.
Another
to
9-10 yards, just
what
like that.
could be another first down. Chipping away.
Carrying the ball at number 34, Drake Hukel. Tackle made by number 21,
Hukill has
James
been the
Carter.
star of this offense.
And thi-
8:14 left in the fourth quarter. They're hugging those sidelines, running right out of bounds, stopping the clock about every play.
and
1st and 10.
This goes back to what I mentioned earlier. Are the Colonials just not able to match that energy right now? Is that a factor in this?
It's tough because we're a little biased in the sense that we are on the visitor sideline, but I mean, visibly looks a little different over here than it does over there right now as Hukel gets the ball once again up the right side. More of a draw play that time.
and like you said before, it's almost like
Carrying the ball at
what's
number
it
34,
going to
Drake
take to
Hukel.
put these guys out of this game?
That's it.
I mean, if you're
That's
the Colonials,
it.
you put together a great game so far. It's like, what else do we have to do to finish these guys
That is
off?
it.
Yard line.
And I mean, if the Bruins can score here, then you're talking a one-possession game when you were leading at halftime by 20 points.
0 or 20 to 7, or excuse me. Going to be an outside run by Shorts. These guys are fast-paced, and they're moving the ball right down the field. 2nd and 6 from the 16. Take that back. It is 3rd down. Third and 1.
Bring up 3rd down and a yard.
Shorts back. Look for a little hole there, and he's pretty easily going to get the
Yeah.
first down. And there's the ball. The ball's out once again. This could be huge. This is going to be a big point in the game. Looks like Brook is going to
Keep it.
avoid another scare.
And that is
6:58 to
definitely
go
a
in the
scare,
4th.
especially after that drive.
And carrying the ball number
Well, that's exactly what happened. The Brook made it down
Yep,
the field, and
yeah.
they had fumbled. They had fumbled away that drive earlier in the game, so they avoid another could-be disaster.
In the Colonial defense, I mean, they're known for getting a turnover at the right time. I mean, look at last week against
Absolutely.
Laurel Highlands.
Yep.
Gallagher with a big run, and I mean, they knocked the ball free at the end
Yep.
of probably, what, a 40-yard run or something?
Give or take, yeah. Quick handoff to Hukill. He's looking for room up the left side. Albert Gallatin going to stop him.
It's going to be enough to get the first down.
Yeah, we're going to be...
Or second down. I'm sorry, I was off.
Looks like we're at 2nd and goal. That the chains are a little deceiving down there.
number 10, Jace Bowers.
Bowers on the stop for Albert Gallatin.
2nd and goal at the 5-yard line. I mean, still 6 minutes left in this game, so I mean, there's still a lot of time.
Absolutely. Streets under center. It's going to be a quick handoff. Trying to find room is Roger Gabbert to the end zone, but he's going to be tripped up.
Carried by number 9, Roger Gabbert. Tackle made by number 13.
Both
Caleb
teams still have 3
Shepherd.
timeouts, too, which is something
Both
to
teams have
keep in
3
mind.
timeouts. We're inside of 6 minutes now at 5:55. Now, Tommy, Brook was doing a great job of getting out of bounds and stopping that clock, but the past several plays, they have been letting this clock run.
Well, and I feel like it's almost like you have to weigh the risk-reward. I mean, keep
True.
it on the inside. I mean, you're trying to get those
That's
interior
true.
yards.
Short snaps the ball. Brooks going to walk into the end zone. That's Hukel.
And carrying the ball in for the score.
Wow.
Number 34, Drake Kukul.
He deserves a score after the night he's
I
had
was
for
gonna say,
Brook.
he's putting together a very, very good night.
And just like that, a 20-7 lead at the half has become a 28-19 lead with 5:34 to go in the fourth
And
quarter.
this is a big, big. It's going to be a 2-point conversion.
This extra point in the following kickoff will be a huge sequence in this football game. Brook looks like they're going for 2 here to make it an even 7 points, and the ball's loose again. That'll probably be dead.
And that really hurts because
That ball is dead, so there is going to be. Well, Tommy, that makes it a that keeps it a two-possession game. That hurts for Brook. That keeps it a two-possession game with 5:34 left in the fourth quarter. Albert Gallatin leads the Bruins 28-19 after the failed conversion attempt. Tried to make it a 7-point game. They do not convert, so they now face, instead of a one-score 8-point deficit, if you score and get the 2-point conversion, there is now a 9-point deficit, which keeps it a two-possession game.
Yeah, that definitely.
That hurts.
That stings. Yeah, I mean, but you never know. I mean,
You never
there's still
know.
5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
plenty of time. That's plenty of time for anybody.
So the next question I have: do we see another onside kick?
I would. It's a
I
tough
don't know.
spot. It's a tough spot. As Albert Gallatin, you have to be expecting it this time.
but I mean, if you're Brook, do you want to give Albert Gallatin a 50-yard field to work with?
Exactly.
Or maybe say we'll even say 60.
Albert Gallatin drawing up the field already,
Oh,
so they
yeah.
have to be expecting it, even though they're not in really a traditional onside recovery formation. But Brook is not in a traditional onside kick formation. Another onside.
Oh.
Ball's right through his hands, but that's going to bounce out of bounds. Ball went through the hands of number 20, Phil Dennis.
And I'm not sure that would be a penalty because it definitely looked like a Colonial touch that ball.
Well, let's see here. Slipped right through the hands of Dennis, but right out of bounds, so no harm, no foul in that sense.
It was a great attempt, though. I mean, a lot of spin on that ball.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's almost, I don't want to say almost impossible to
Because
judge
we
a ball
saw-
like
yeah.
that, but that would have been hard for anybody to recover. Let's see, we're going to set the ball up for the Colonials.
5-yard penalty against the kicking team. We're going to bring the ball in where it went out.
So there's a penalty against the kicking team for kicking it out of bounds that results in 5 yards from the spots where the kick went out of bounds. So Albert Gallatin will take over 1st and 10 on the Bruin 49-yard line. So let's see, like you said, Tommy, if this is going to help or hurt the Bruins as Shea snaps the ball to Loring.
Wow.
He's gone and running.
I just love watching this team.
He's
I
fun to
do.
watch.
I mean, this team, it's just like they have so many different types of players.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have the power of Loring. You have the finesse of Fabricki. You have speed on the outside. Dylan Shea, we saw, I mean, he has an arm.
Oh, he's had a great game.
I mean,
just a great game.
Lang has hands. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had 2 or 3 big catches that were not easy.
He struggled there at the beginning getting that reception. I don't think that was his fault, but definitely came around and pulled a lot down so far in the remainder of the game here. Going to result in another first down after the Loring run. 1st and 10 from the 36 of Brook. Quick handoff to Loring once again. This is where you're going to want to use him, just to bleed that clock out.
And I'm wondering when Brook hits the
You're going to bleed that clock out.
hits
You're really
the
going to
timeout.
test Brook. Yeah.
I mean, it's a test of, I don't want to say patience, but essentially patience of, do we hold these?
Yeah.
I mean, it.
Gain of yard on the play brings up 2nd down and 9 for the Colonials.
You can't take the timeouts home, so you
Very
should
true.
probably use them.
But then it's like, do you try to wait until you're on offense?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like it's a tough back and forth.
It is.
Because at some point the clocks can get down to where
It could save you either
Yeah.
way, but you want it to save you at the right time as the Albert Gallatin Colonials run another quick handoff and Loring is just plowing ahead.
Looked like he coughed up, but he
coughed it up. He quickly
Yeah.
grabbed it, but he might have been down before it came out. It was pretty close.
44, Sean Loring, tackle man for
And now we're under 4
short.
minutes. And like I said, if you're the Bruins, it's like, yeah, we have 3 timeouts, and yeah, this Colonial offense is just known to bleed the clock.
Absolutely.
But
I'll tell you, Tommy, if it was me, we're looking at a 3rd and 8. If I'm Brook and I'm able to hold Albert Gallatin on 4th down, I'm definitely using one
Yeah,
if the clock
I think you
didn't
have
get
to.
stopped.
Yeah.
If the clock doesn't get stopped in the meantime.
And if you're the Colonials, I don't think pass is in the playbook at all.
No.
I mean, you can't stop the clock.
Nope. Hand off to Loring. He fumbles the ball, and Brook
Wow.
recovers. Brook has recovered the fumble.
And that's
big.
yeah, I mean,
We saw a pretty good performance from Loring. He's running the ball well this week, but he's dropped the ball. I think that's 3
and
times.
it looked like he just
I don't know.
He just didn't
know
what that was.
hang on to it. So turnover, Albert Gallatin, big turn of events. Now it's a 1st and 10 for Brook. 33-yard line of the Colonials.
And that changes the
3:21 left in
landscape
the,
of this ending by far. I mean,
3:21 left in the 4th quarter. Brook is down 2 possessions. That is the only thing as Shorts drops back. He's going to go down.
I mean, he avoided one.
He avoided one, tried to avoid 2, got brought down by 3. I want to say I saw Loring stay in the game. That might have been Loring that actually brought him down.
I don't.
Maybe, no.
Yeah, because I think, honestly, I noticed, and I meant to comment on this. Loring came out. He was originally,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
They
yeah.
took him to the sideline.
It's tough to see sometimes with the fonts of the
they're
numbers
tough.
on Albert Gallatin's jerseys. Might have been Shore trying to run through who's on the defensive line that actually brought Shorts down. But there's that screen pass once again. Oh, and Dylan Shea. They're going to say that ball bounced. Dylan Shea ends up with the ball, but they're going to say it bounced, and I think it did.
Yeah.
Tried to fool him with that screen pass, and they bit once again.
Yeah, I mean, but if you can get enough guys back there, you're able to do something then.
Oh, yeah. This is the time where you just got to go for it here, so I don't disagree with the calling by any means.
3rd and 17, that's not an ideal situation.
No, not at this point for the Bruins. Ball's back. Shorts is going to drop for a pass. He's hit as he throws, and it's almost intercepted. Good throw even with the contact, but it knocked him off balance just enough.
There were some deep patterns there. I mean, they were definitely airing it out.
They were trying to get to that other side of the field quick.
It didn't look like there was a safety valve about 5-10 yards out. I mean, it was going to be either going to be a long pass or we're going to. Which, I mean, I respect that. I mean, this late in the game with a 3rd and 17.
You have to take shots here.
Timeout. White.
We're going to have the first time out
and
from Brook.
Yeah, that's an odd. I mean, yeah, you want to get the right call in for 4th and 17, but you already had the clock stopped.
Right. 4th and 17 from their own 27. Clock stopped here. They're going to have to put together something pretty good here.
Well, and I think that's the whole thing. I mean, we won't need those timeouts if we don't convert here. So, I mean, that's the logic, I guess.
Yeah. See what they can come up with.
Because we know they have the ability to do it.
Mm-hmm. They do. See what they can come up with, even if they get to score here. That failed 2-point conversion that made it a 2-possession game instead of a 1-possession game. That's really going to end up coming back to haunt these guys, I think. They had everything go well down the stretch here, I think, until that failed 2-point conversion. That 8 to 9 points is a killer. As the snaps back, 4th and 17, a lot of pressure. Shorts is down once again.
Yep.
Albert Gallatin gets the sack, 4th and 17, turnover on downs. And I'd say that's going to be that, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a shame, but I mean, the Colonials did their job.
They did.
And I almost wonder, were they setting up for a screen there? Because, I mean,
it
looked like the Colonials got through quick.
I'll tell you, I think somebody missed something somewhere.
Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I felt like that was
Yeah, there was I mean, that was blown from the get-go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure what – I can't even interpret what it really was because it just collapsed so quickly. Albert Gallatin takes over 1st and 10 on the Brook 24-yard line. 2:19 left in the fourth quarter. Going to try to close this game out to become 2-0 on the season. Man in motion. Quick handoff to Loring. He's going to fall forward for a couple yards to keep that clock moving.
Carrying the ball to the middle, number 44, Sean Loring. Tackle made by number
And it's like you said, Tommy, are you really in a position now if you're Brook that you're calling timeouts?
Yeah.
2-possession game.
2 minutes left. I mean,
if that 2-point conversion would have been successful, or if you would have kicked the field goal, absolutely, I can see that. But now that it's a 2-possession game, you pretty much ran out of time, unfortunately.
It's crazy to think that one play really shaped the landscape for the last
really
6 minutes.
It
Because, I mean,
really did. It made a 1-possession game a 2-possession game. So, being able to score one time is one thing instead of scoring one time, holding your guys on defense and scoring a whole another time in less than 2 minutes here. Albert Gallatin going to use a timeout. So 2nd and 6, ball's on the 20. Albert Gallatin calls a timeout. I would say they surely want to design something to get them this first down here to keep that clock moving. I think they don't want to just close the door on Brook. I think they want to slam it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's just a common trend in sports in general. When you try to just sit on a lead or just try to like not score or not have the drive to move the ball forward, that's when you have big mistakes, and that's where some very odd things could happen.
Yep.
And just for everyone at home, the temperature has dropped significantly.
Yeah, it's chilly, and we are outside. We are at, I'm looking at my watch here, I got about 52 degrees right now. Man in motion on the 2nd down play. Quick handoff to Loring, and I'd say there's your first down. Yep. Loring plows ahead once again.
Sean Loring, tackle made by number 30, Dylan Dibner.
Minute 30 left in the game. Colonials close to punching in another score.
We'll see what happens. I mean, you don't want to pour salt in the wounds just out of a sportsmanship aspect, but I mean,
you also
it's
can't
almost
take
kind of a game.
I mean, you can't.
If there was even another minute or two on the clock, it would definitely still be a game.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, like, even now, you can't rule out 2 crazy sequences of events.
No, absolutely not. Ruling them out is how you'll lose focus enough for them to happen.
Yeah.
Albert Gallatin moves the ball again with Loring, 2nd down coming up.
Number 44, Sean Loring, tackle made by 83.
We're now inside of a minute remaining in the game. Albert Gallatin's just going to milk it here, as they have been doing, but even more so. 2nd and 6. .37 seconds and winding.
It looks like they're going to take a knee here.
Yeah, I would say that would be the way to do it. And that's what they're going to do.
Which, I mean, that's a respectable thing to do.
That's a respectable thing to do. Nothing wrong with that. Albert Gallatin kneels the ball, going to run this clock out. 15 seconds to go, but the score that we have now is going to end up being the final. Albert Gallatin 28, the Brooke Bruins 19. Tommy, that's a great win for Albert Gallatin. 2-0 on the young season. stars all around
Yeah,
on offense and defense. Dylan Shea has a great offensive game. Loring has another great game for Bricky. Effort. Lang came through on those receptions. That's going to be something to watch as we go on. And we don't know Brook too well. We may not see them again for a while, but those guys had a lot of fight, and you got to give a lot of respect to them finishing out the game the way they did.
That's a good team there. I mean, they're not a bad team at all.
No, they played well, and they really came through at the end. See what all shakes out with scheduling. Hopefully we'll catch you then. I'm Rob Flockovich alongside Tommy Victor from York Run Stadium. We will see you next time.